Like to have that sacrifice where the families, don't see their father or their mother for 24 hours at a time sometimes because of their deployment. So I think it's always important for us to say thank you.
Councilmember Monica Rodriguez represents Sunderland Tujunga, one of the communities forced to evacuate. Her office organized this thank you event at Discovery Cube LA. LAPD Valley Bureau was also honored for helping to get everyone out safely.
LAPD is critical. We hand them the evacuation piece of a brush fire. Our job in the initial phases is to focus on keeping that fire small. If it gets beyond our control, we really need LAPD to clear the people from the houses ahead of the fire where we project it to go.
All residents, please exit your home.
LAPD and other law enforcement also coordinated traffic during the exodus and told evacuees where to go for shelter. More than 300 homes in Sunderland Tujunga, Burbank, and Glendale were forced to evacuate. LAPD Deputy Chief John Sherman says he was moved by the level of cooperation.
Frankly, being supported by our community, which doesn't always happen with police officers. A lot of times we're in a situation where we're criticized or we're second guessed, and in this instance, the community is very happy that we were there helping them back in early September.
A coordinated effort with multiple agencies and no lives lost. At Discovery Cube LA, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
As a show of gratitude, Discovery Cube Science Center is discounting admission for first responders and their families throughout the month. LA joined countries around the world in guiding its kids to school on International Walk to School Day. LA's own Mayor Eric Garcetti put on his walking shoes to highlight the need for child and traffic safety. Anna Marcos has more.
The kids at Magnolia Avenue Elementary seem pretty gung-ho about leaving the car and bus behind to walk to school for a day. And they've got quite the walking partners. Mayor Eric Garcetti and LAUSD School Board President Monica Garcia are helping to honor International Walk to School Day.
Everyone was around him, lots of pictures. I got a photo with him. I was surprised when my friends showed me the mayor.
Is that cool? Did you have the mayor here?
Yeah.
Cool?
I'm very proud that we've started this program now for 2 decades. So one of our safe routes to school is about making sure there's police officers on the most dangerous routes. It's about making sure there's traffic enforcement and that we change the hardscape to make it easier to cross those streets.
City leaders and kids walking side by side, just a great way to show that walking to school can be safe and fun. Some even think it can make you better at school.
Boys and girls, are you working hard to do your best at school today? And were you clear about being safe as you walk to school today? Boys and girls, you are a model for the whole country.
Rulers, glue, crayons, markers, pencils, just some of the tools of learning the ABCs. And each of these kids is getting one of these school supply packs to further their academic achievement.
I think it's fun because you get to do arts and crafts. My favorite school supply is a pencil because I like writing.
And the mayor has one more extracurricular goal for these kids.
It's great for the kids to get exercise. We're bringing the 2028 Olympics here. We want to make this the fittest city in America.
You heard it, kids. Pack your new pencils and crayons and start hoofing it as the mayor works to make your streets safer. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The supply packs given to the students were donated by UB School Supplies. Well, oftentimes one teacher serving 30 school kids isn't enough for a student. Individualized care may be the key to getting through school. That's where the City Year comes in. Gil Reyes has more on the group and its latest mission.
Like soldiers in the battle to save students, these AmeriCorps members get set for deployment. They're part of City Year, the tutoring and mentoring program helping at-risk kids at LA schools. Today at LA Live, AmeriCorps members are sworn in for another year of active duty.
I want to be a teacher. I want to be in education. I want to be in the classroom. I want to work with these students.
In 28 cities nationwide, more than 3,100 City Year AmeriCorps members go to schools to get kids pumped for college with one-on-one instruction.
So that our AmeriCorps members can build relationships with the students, find out what's going on that's keeping them from getting on track, help them deal with that, and then get them back on track to graduate.
Though LA Unified's graduation rate is higher than ever at 80%, members say much more work lies ahead to get that to 100%. Camacho, a 3-year AmeriCorps veteran, loves it when former students who've improved approach her.
Look at my grades, like I'm doing so well, like I'm taking my notes, I'm doing this, and like they're just showing off everything that they've learned last year and applying it this year, and then coming to show me of how much they're growing themselves, and then it's just making me so proud.
As the group gets set for another 1-year mission. Reporting on City Year at LA Live, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Around 300 City Year AmeriCorps members serve LA Unified. The program is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Turning now to LA traffic, and if you drive anywhere near the West Side, then you know how hard it is to get around. But that's all about to change thanks to 15 Metro bike rental kiosks that have just opened up at prime locations around Venice, including the Expo Line stop by the beach. Gil Reyes has more.
You can rent bikes at plenty of places in Venice, but these are the first to truly complement bus and rail commutes.
Give it a chance. Bike share is a way to enjoy and see this beautiful beaches in a way you cannot from your car.
We are in the epicenter of physical fitness in the United States, Venice Beach, California, home to Muscle Beach, and now home to LA Metro's bike share program. 15 kiosks available and 165 bikes available to rent.
The epicenter of physical fitness, but also a really important place to make a first and last mile connection to the nearby Expo Line.
Venice Councilman and Metro Board member Mike Bonin referring to first mile, last mile. That is the distance between a commuter's transit stop and their final destination like home or workplace. Oftentimes that distance is too far to walk, so they'll drive it, making the West Side's already soul-sucking traffic worse.
So we came in a car, so we had to find somewhere to park, and then we had to walk from the car, and that's everybody's story in Los Angeles. So something like this, I think, could be a great benefit.
Peter Quentin and Ellen Cox try out Metro Bike Share for a change. The good news, rental kiosks are conveniently located at downtown Santa Monica Expo Line Station, Abbott Kinney Shopping District, Muscle Beach, and several other popular Venice area destinations. And the bonus is you can rent a bike from one Venice Metro kiosk and return it at any other 24 hours a day.
Fantastic idea. I mean, if everything is integrated like that, all the transport systems, I think it's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. Cuts down traffic. It's environmentally beneficial. Folks are hungry in Los Angeles for a variety of different options and modes of transportation, and this helps address that.
And you get your cardio in, too, at the epicenter of the fitness craze, Venice Beach. I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Now, this new Venice system should not be confused with the City of Santa Monica's Hulu system. They're not compatible. Metro Bike Share is also up and running in downtown LA and the Port of Los Angeles. With a monthly pass, trips 30 minutes or less are free and just $1.75 every half hour after that. For more info, log on to bikeshare.metro.net. Well, most council districts offer a newsletter to their residents, but Councilmember Gil Cedillo and his staff are going a step further to keep their community informed with a glossy quarterly news magazine. As Anna Marcos shows us, that's reason enough to party.
A little riff from Santana gets the party started. The reason for the celebration, the latest edition of the One Voice, Una Voz magazine, a state-of-the-art bilingual news magazine, the brainchild of Councilmember Gil Cedillo, his staff, and community members.
Nothing like the smell of a fresh magazine, the paper, the ink coming off the press, hot off the press.
The news magazine covers issues affecting Council District 1, from the environment, river cleanups, and public safety, to the area's unique art and culture scene.
This is all about the residents of CD1, and other stories that are relevant to it. Now, politics do creep in. Immigration is a big issue in our district. Politics do creep in, but that's not the focus of the magazine.
What is the focus? The community's residents and its artists.
We feature the district and we feature the artists. So every cover, all 8 covers are either photos or artwork from our artists.
After 8 issues, this quarterly news magazine has established itself as a unique and important voice for the people. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The community of Watts is notable for much more than just the 1965 LA riots. As Gil Reyes reports, there's also the arts and 2 of the longest-running multicultural festivals in the country.
This 2-day music festival in Watts began with the traditional Yoruba blessing, a West African prayer uniting all the cultures of the world.
Yes, it's my first time here. I've been meaning to come for many, many years. I finally made it.
Tahitian dance group Ninosina Polynesia among the diverse acts at the 36th annual Watts Day of the Drum Festival, an international celebration of all things percussion presented by the Department of Cultural Affairs. The hits kept coming all weekend. The next day marked the 41st annual Watts Towers Jazz Festival.
We are the oldest festivals of their kind in the United States of America, and it's done right here in Watts, California. Some people only think about us when they think about 1965. However, we do other things in 1965. We do museum and art education. We're the only tourist site in Watts.
West African, Brazilian, and Afro-Cuban sounds also filled the air, bringing people of all types together to enjoy.
It all looks really exciting.
This is pretty fantastic.
South LA Council member Curran Price attended.
It's a way for us to celebrate ourselves and to celebrate our community.
The beat goes on when you visit artist Simon Rodia's Watts Towers, which took him 30 years to build, and the Arts Center campus. The campus is open for tours Thursday through Sunday. In Watts, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
For tour times, exhibits, and special events, visit wattstowers.org. A homeless forum seeks to find solutions to our homeless crisis. City Council approves an ordinance that will help build more affordable housing. And folks come out to celebrate everything that Greek culture has to offer. All these stories in City Beat. USC journalism students and the Skid Row community participated in a forum on homelessness recently, featuring a panel of service providers, including representatives from the Midnight Mission, LAPD, and Mayor Eric Garcetti's office. The forum focused on coming up with solutions impacting the homeless population in our city. Many people living on the streets or in shelters shared their stories. Among the many issues affecting homelessness, several were discussed, including the difficulties women face in finding a safe place to sleep, how to provide a better system of housing and services to get more people off the street.
We need to have a robust shelter system that helps people who just need a little bit of help get their feet under themselves, sleep in a safe place, get cleaned up, get dressed up, and get out and find that next job.
The Los Angeles Planning and Land Use Committee, chaired by Councilmember Jose Huizar, voted 4-1 in favor of the city's linkage fee ordinance. The ordinance is expected to generate up to $114 million annually through development fees on new construction. City officials say it will be a major step forward in addressing the city's affordable housing crisis. The ordinance is supported by a group of community organizations as well as LA Mayor Eric Garcetti. Folks came out recently for a taste of Greek culture at the 19th annual Los Angeles Greek Festival. The theme was Greek Out, and award-winning actor Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson hosted the festival as honorary co-chairs. The 3-day festival took place at Normandy and Pico and featured authentic Greek cuisine, culture, music, and dance.
It's our way of sharing our culture, our heritage, our history. Folk dancing in Greece is one of the few countries where the dances have remained part of the culture and not as a museum piece.
One city council member throws a party for the love, guidance, and contributions of LA's older adults. Gil Reyes has more from the LA Convention Center. Gil.
Yana K, everybody at home, check it out. What you're looking at is the free party at the LA Convention Center that seniors from South Los Angeles look forward to every single year. Just a small token of appreciation for all their years of service.
Age is just a number for these older adults busting moves on the dance floor. The entertainment, the food, the fun are all free.
Totally appreciated. We have people waiting to come just to be a part.
Patricia Williams, a retired postal worker, among the hundreds of South LA area residents, having a blast at this Senior Appreciation Luncheon at the Convention Center. The event, organized every year by Area Council member Curran Price.
And the fact that he wants to celebrate us seniors, that means a lot to us.
Well, it's important for us to just recognize the contributions that our senior students have made to our community, and this is a way of giving back, saying thank you, and providing them with vital information that will make their lives easier.
Showing up, the councilman's 91 years young mom. Also, LA City Council President Herb Wesson. Over 500,000 people aged 60 or older now live in LA City. Those numbers are expected to grow as seniors live longer. The mayor's office has launched a purposeful aging initiative, calling on city departments to assess the needs of older adults through online surveys.
It brings all the departments together to really plan about the future of seniors. If it's the public works, the streets, if it's transportation, the street lights, all those different things are being planned.
Daniel and Bessie Auberry tell us the secret to aging well and marital bliss.
59 years with him, 59 years. We got 26 grandkids, 17 great, and made 5th generation, and I'm 80.
Wow, you guys look fantastic.
Thank you.
And that's the secret, huh? Having fun, huh?
Loving, having fun.
Living a good life.
And living a good life and giving each other respect.
Enough space on the dance floor, too. At the LA Convention Center, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
LA seniors are urged to answer online surveys to assess their needs at purposefulagingla.com. Well, celebrate Oktoberfest with your friends at Pershing Square. Get your kids into the Halloween spirit with Boo at the LA Zoo and enjoy a free movie night in Council District 1. All this in this week's Things to Do. Oktoberfest is coming to Pershing Square in downtown LA. Spend the weekend living it up during this fun cultural event. There will be plenty of drinks along with sausages, pretzels, authentic desserts, and of course live music and dancing. This weekend is the perfect chance to celebrate with a great group of friends. So come and enjoy everything Oktoberfest has to offer. The weekend festivities take place October 21st through the 22nd from 12 to 8 p.m. at Pershing Square in downtown LA. It's that time again for ghosts, goblins, and everything spooky. The all-new Boo at the Zoo offers Halloween fun throughout October. Boo at the LA Zoo offers goblins and ghouls of all ages a chance to feed their imaginations with fantastic fun and spooktacular learning throughout the entire month of October. Activities include an all-new nocturnal adventure maze where guests can learn about nocturnal creatures, an opportunity to get up close and personal with some of the zoo's tarantulas, scorpions, snakes, and more, a puppet show, and pumpkin carving demonstrations. The festivities go on until the end of October. For more, visit lazoo.org.
I come from Earth, a planet of outlaws.
Councilmember Gil Cedillo, in partnership with the Department of Rec and Parks and the Arroyo Seco Neighborhood Council, invite you to a free screening of Guardians of the Galaxy. A free small popcorn is included, so grab the kids and enjoy a movie night. It all begins at 6:30 p.m. at Sycamore Grove Park at 4702 North Figueroa Street. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today.
Need a recycling center? Call 311, the toll-free number for non-emergency services. 311, your one call to City Hall.
Hi, I'm Kevin from Chatsworth, offering you a taste of New Orleans since 1986. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35.
take your seats. It's Tuesday, October 17th. I want to welcome you to City Hall. Madam Clerk, we do have a quorum. Would you please call the roll?
Blumenfeld, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris-Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikoran, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Buscaino moves. O'Farrell seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Martinez moves. Rue seconds. That brings us where?
Mr. President, today is Tuesday and time for the flag salute.
Okay, let's all rise. We'll be led today by Mr. Buscaino in the salute of our flag.
Thank you. All rise. Face the flag. It reminds us the greatest symbol of freedom. Together, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Buscaino. Let's go through the agenda.
Mr. President, there is a request to continue item 1B to December 12th and item 6 to October 25th.
Without objection, continue.
The Department of Building and Safety recommends that items 1D and 1I be received and filed as the liens have been paid in full. Additionally, the department recommends that the lien amount for item 1G be reduced to $3,137.51 as the lien has been partially paid.
Okay, so ordered. Continue.
Items 1 and 2 are items noticed for public hearing.
You have cards?
Yes, there are cards on item 1.
Okay, then let's deal with item 2. On item 2, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Continue.
Items 3 through 10 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Specials, members, I do not see any. Let's prepare to vote on these items. Madam Clerk, please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Mr. O'Farrell.
Item 5, forthwith, please.
Without objection. Back to you, Madam Clerk.
Items 11 through 15 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are before this body. Do you have cards on these items?
Yes, there are cards on 11, 12, 13, and 15.
Okay, let's vote on the remaining item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That brings us where?
Mr. President, that takes council to the supplemental agenda, and item 16 is an item for which public hearing has been held, although this item has an amending motion, so it should be held on the desk.
Okay, well, if you say so, then that's what we will do. All right, continue.
Items 17 through 21 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are before this body. You have cards?
Yes, there are cards on all items.
Okay, that brings us where?
Mr. President, that takes council back to presentations or items called special or general public comment.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to try to do the multiple comment section. Mr. Previn, if you could work your way, Mr. Previn. Mr. Previn, would you like to speak? Then you need to work your way to the center aisle. Mr. Previn has items 12, 13, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. General public comment. Mr. Previn, begin. And 16 as well.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's Eric Previn from Studio City and CD2, and I appreciate the agenda today. It's a cute little agenda. Item 15, we have Mr. O'Farrell bravely stepping forward and accepting a donation of $20,000 to put up a private surveillance camera that the LAPD will put into service. Now, that does send a weird message, and I know that we've covered this territory before because everybody wants public safety, and if it's the right spot, but when you have private donors, I know this is a group of people who are mostly focused on safety, but I always get concerned about the donations, which is why I raised with Englander up in public safety this week. we can't have just robust donations from private entities all over the place and administrate things completely in a fair manner. That's what I'm worried about. And I know that going back to the PBAs in our local neighborhoods, there's nothing wrong with donating, but we have to find a way that somehow is more transparent. It upsets me. Now, Mr. O'Farrell is also a guy who likes to follow the law sometimes, but he did not return the excess contributions from Mr. Masaborski, the LLC. And today up in Ethics Commission, they found another guy, KOUBA, for less money, $2,600.
Mr. President, we veered off topic here.
Well, but sir, it is
no,
regarding
but come on,
ethics.
Mr. President,
okay,
just
I'll come
get
back
back
on. Let me come back on to 13, which is Private Counsel Downey Brand. These guys are doing a great job, and they're busy. They are very, very busy. Here, they're helping us battle back Waterkeeper, some kind of an environmental group that's trying to, and so I think that we want their guidance and their help. And it's important, as Bonham will confirm, that we get private counsel sometimes so that egregious mistakes by Mr. Fuhr's group, not Mr. Falble per se, he's excellent, but the other guys up there and gals have dropped the ball substantially so that $20 million in liability on bicycle claims in the last calendar year, that's just 1 year, sir, whereas in the previous 10 years, we've spent $6 million. So what changed? And how can we possibly get by? And the county did a great thing by hiring Collins and Muir in a similar case, and that firm spent a little money.
Topic.
Well, sir, I think that's
no. Come on, Mr.
Fine, I don't
Previn,
want to
just
argue with you, sir.
Go on.
I don't want to argue with you. Certainly, George Romero is getting a walk on the Hollywood fame, and that's something that I think we can agree is worth celebrating. And I noticed that Mr. Krikorian is working on the urban cooling strategies, in particular regarding the Orange Line. And I think that's because there's a Sherman Way Station project out there that I've heard about. It's hard to scan that one. I don't know. We'll ask Avak if it's on the up and up. But I appreciate it, sir. And I'll go to my general public comment now if you are ready.
Give him 1 minute.
Sure. So in general public comment, I want to just speak concurrently to what's happening up in ethics now, which is the lobbyists are under siege, sir. They, believe it or not, are being forced by council members to bring contributions, according to Arnie Berghoff and others. They're being forced to ingratiate themselves with all of these council members, like poor Blumenfield and all. And it's not fair to these lobbyists. And so they are asking that when Howard Sunken and Edgar Kaladian go and meet with the planning department about the Harvard Westlake project, they're saying there's no way they're going to make notations about that because that would be way too inconvenient. Like if they bumped into someone in the corridor, how would they know that that they were talking to, say, you briefly, and they would have to report that. But nobody wants silly reporting. We want concrete, substantive transparency, and the lobbyists do a great job of normalizing it and making it seem like, hey, there's 444 of us. There's 1,500 clients. That's almost one lobbyist for 3 clients. We're doing a great job, and it's a public service.
Thank you, Mr. Previn. Thank you. Mr. Walsh, John Walsh, items 1A, 11A, 12, 13, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems, and for identification purposes only, citizens for recalling Mr. Bond.
Stay on the subject.
That's identification. Ask the city attorney.
No, just stay on the subject, Mr. Walsh.
Okay, let's start with number 1. You're doing a good job in building in safety. I've lived here since 1966.
Just keep that for
when some of you were in diapers. You were adults, but you were in diapers. Number 11, this is rent escrow. Doing a good job in rent escrow. Okay, here's the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Nobody better to put on the Hollywood Walk of Fame than George Romero, Night of the Living Dead. Because if you walk around there, please, tourists, stay away from Hollywood. The living dead walk the streets of Hollywood. George Romero is the director of Night of the Living Dead, and if you think he scares the hell out of you and his creatures scare the hell out of you, take a look at the people who are walking down and up and down Hollywood Boulevard. Number 13, more outside counsel. We spend more money on outside counsel than Glendale, and 5 times more than Glendale. These people at city attorney, they're just sitting back, and the council is overcharging. This is Downey Brand Limited Law Partnership. It doesn't tell you. This is just $100,000, $100,000 here, $100,000 there. You know, it begins to add up, and so HollywoodHighlands.org, 1213. As I said, George Romero, and I'm gonna give you a gift of the.
Let's give him his 1 minute.
I'm giving you. I want to go into my minute. I'm telling you, you must recall Mike Bonin. And as far as Dianne Feinstein, let me tell you, I'm half Jewish. My mother was Jewish. My father wasn't. The anti-Semites are trying to purge the state of every Jew who's been elected. And now the Mexicans are going after Dianne Feinstein. And they've got Kevin De Leon, and the things he's saying about her is despicable. I won't even repeat the things that Dianne Feinstein is going to go through. It's going to be mud. It's going to be Mexican mud. And I'm telling you, we're going to reelect Dianne Feinstein, and we're going to keep the Jew in there. And all they want to do, and I'm telling you, Jews, you better wake up, because your ass is going to be kicked out of here in favor of the Mexicans.
Thank you, Mr. Wasses. Pull up Mr. Spindler. Mr. Spindler, you have 1 A, B, C, D, E, F, H, I, J, K, 11A, 12, 13, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Go ahead.
Okay. So let's go ahead, Mr. Puppet. Puppets to reelect to recall Bonin. Okay. So number 1, public hearing. What do you think?
I support number 4. Number 1A, excuse me. Number 1B. Fuck you. It's in CD 11. We're recalling Bonin. Recall the lien on 1B.
Stay
just
on the
like
subject.
The Bonin. C. D. No. E, F, G. It belongs to Wesson. That's you. So go ahead and cancel those liens. You're acting as the mayor. You may do so. You're the king.
Just
My
stay on the
Excellency. All right.
That was very nice.
Yes. Now we have Tefra. I'm a pig. What the fuck do I know about Tefra? I don't know what it is.
All right, now let's go to the last one.
Oh, number 15, a wireless surveillance camera for the city of Hollywood. Yes. You see, we need a camera. We're having problems on Hollywood Boulevard. Seems there's been certain drug purchases that have been illegal. They've been giving you the bad stuff for the high price. So I think you can't go to Walmart to buy your fix. So you'll have to get your fix on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in the entertainment district. We need cameras because everybody that buys drugs that has a bad purchase will now have a camera proof of the illegal transactions taking place in case you have to go to the emergency room, you know, on an overdose. Like Mike Bonin did.
No,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
Let's.
he's a drug
You know
addict.
what? This is your second warning. Just give him his general public comment for 1 minute.
Matter. Bonin will be recalled. Bonin fucked with the Jews. You do not do that. Nuri tried to do that, but lately she's made peace with our Hebrew neighbors. Just look at Burbank Boulevard and the nice job she's doing. Thank you, and thank you for the coffee today. Now we get to the Dianne Feinstein. She's Jewish and does not eat pork. I'm a pig, so I support Dianne Feinstein for re-election. Kevin De Leon uses a fake name like Herb Wesson uses a fake name and runs for office. He's a criminal. So re-elect Dianne Feinstein. Don't do what Kevin De Leon is doing. You know what he's doing? He's fucking with the Jews. Don't fuck with the Jews. Because Dianne Feinstein will kick your ass. Re-elect Dianne Feinstein. Fuck you.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk or Mr. City Attorney, that closes the multiple comment section. Let's, I think we can vote on items 17 through 21. On those items, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Thank you. Forthwith, 17. Mr. O'Farrell.
One more forthwith, please, Mr. President, and that's item 10.
Item 10.
Thank you.
Now let's vote on items 11 through 15. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. And let's, wait.
13 ayes.
Thank you. Item 21, let's send that forthwith. Let's go to the presentation portion of today's council agenda. I'm looking to Ms. Martinez. The floor is yours. So anyway, and so that before you start, that we will conclude our general public comment as well, Mr. City Attorney. Ms. Martinez.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. If I can have all of our honorees from this morning please come up to the podium with me.
Go on, Frankie, guys, get in the center aisle. We want to get you all on television.
There we go. Squeeze in. Why don't we put probably these down for just a second. Come on closer. The council doesn't bite. Come on. Colleagues, today I'm happy to stand here and celebrate the great work of some amazing individuals. When I joined the council 4 years ago, not only was I the only woman serving, but the first Latina in 25 years, and I believe we can do better now with my colleague, Monica Rodriguez. We need strong women, Latina leaders, to be role models for the next generation of women. This is why I began to recognize local women and young ladies as leaders at our annual Latina Breakfast and Recognition event. If we want to create future women leaders, we have to inspire them. It is important that we take time to pay tribute to the great work of women that carry our city day in and day out. Oftentimes, the women who are doing the work don't get recognized or praised for their accomplishments. Our past 3 breakfast receptions, we have recognized a wide range of Latinas across our city, from neighborhood activists to local business owners to athletes and muralists. The diversity of experiences that our city holds is what makes Los Angeles such a wonderful city, and one where we celebrate our many cultures. Today, I'm focusing the role of women in the Latino community that have made creative, diverse, and safe places for the LGBT community. We know that for many of the LGBT movement's early years, the face of the movement was limited predominantly to white men. As time has gone, society has become more aware of the intersectionality of issues in this space. We as women of color have always been aware that we can't be one without the other, but society as a whole is just coming around to understanding this. It is not enough to just have a Black, Latino, Asian, and Native American in the room. We actually have to invite them to speak their truth about their stories and their experiences as well. We can't talk about protecting marriage equality for all without doing something about the transgender youth of color who are much more likely to find themselves homeless than gay white men. For many, growing up, it wasn't a conversation that we could have had in public or in the media, and in the Latino community, even less. I was very fortunate to grow up in a household where my parents were open-minded and taught me the value of acceptance and inclusivity, but not everyone had the same experience. So I am very proud that I have been an ally of the LGBTQ community for almost my entire life. These experiences have stayed with me, and as an ally, I want to continue to push policy changes that will help our city be more inclusive to the issues of the LGBTQ community and what they face. With this in mind, this event was meant to not just honor the LGBT community, but also the women, specifically Latinas, who are working to make the LGBTQ space more inclusive. We need to do a better job of promoting the work for women across our city, especially the voice of women of color. Women are breaking barriers every day. Our main honoree today is actress Michelle Bonilla. Ms. Bonilla was born and raised in Hollywood and attended Cal State Northridge. She has a 24-year career in film and television with more than 150 credits. Her impressive list of television credits include 24, The Profiler, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, where she originated the role of Teresa Morales, the first Mexican-American school teacher, and Harms, a Latina paramedic on NBC's Emmy Award-winning drama ER for an impressive 12 seasons. And throughout her career, she has been an avid supporter of LGBTQ rights and advocacy. In 2005, she came out publicly in an article in The Advocate. And in doing so, she became the first Latina actress to come out publicly. It is amazing that even at the turn of the new century, there are still many firsts for women. In one of her interviews, she noted she didn't have anything to hide, and she prided herself on being truthful, not only to herself, but to others. Michelle is an example of the next generation of how living in your truth will help you move past your fear, the fear that many may have when it comes to stepping out and being out as LGBTQ. She has used her skills as a writer and a producer to create projects that speak about the issues of lesbian Latinas and what they face. As I mentioned earlier, we need a diverse range of voices so that all of our stories can be told, and Michelle is doing exactly that. But her advocacy does not stop with her creative endeavors. It continues with her numerous charities and community service, including her own grassroots campaign on homelessness in our community and serving on the SAG and SAFTRA Los Angeles Local Ethnic Employment Opportunities Committee, which works to create and increase opportunities of diversity. And she also started 2 fundraising campaigns to include the Marfan Foundation and Girls Inc. Los Angeles. She has been an inspiration to many women, both as an artist and as an individual. So today, we pay tribute to her because she embodies what we are celebrating: Latinas who are working to increase diversity in the LGBT movement, Latinas who are making this space more inclusive, and Latinas who are living their truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome, and please give her a big round of applause, our friend Michelle Bonilla.
Welcome.
That's beautiful. Wow, thank you so much. I want to first thank Councilwoman Nury Martinez in the City of Los Angeles for this distinguished honor. I want to also thank my fellow Latinas who stand here behind me for all of their amazing service to the community. Thank you. I am humbled to be in the same company as you. Growing up in Los Angeles, Hollywood to be exact, I am proud to call myself an Angelino, and especially as we are in Latino Heritage Month, a Chicana. The idea of service has never been a far-fetched idea for me, as I was raised in a single-family household by my mother, who sits next to me on my left here, stands next to me. I was also raised along with my aunt, who helped Cesar Chavez in the civil rights movement and infused me with the pride and passion of having a voice and power through the source of community action. This Chicana power, this idea that community service could be a monumental difference by supporting those causes that I believed in, was magnetic. I could make a difference by believing in what I loved. And I knew from a very early age that what I would love to do is what they were doing in that little black box that was in my living room. Watching television was a treat and an inspiration. I got to travel to many different places. I got to laugh, to be moved, and escape into a world other than my own. And like many of us, at times, it was a welcome respite. I learned that being an artist has its own power to change, and to be able to inspire others through my creative endeavors became my life's mission statement. There was and is something magical about taking on a role and portraying the lives of other people. But what was blissful was when I walked out into the world and people came up to me to thank me for my work, especially when they were people in the LGBT community, sharing their own experiences and similarities of domestic violence and alcohol and drug abuse in their own relationships, like my characters go through in the film Slipaway. Or young Latinas and Latinos who saw themselves portrayed in a positive light and shared that they were finally being represented and seen. It gave me a deep sense of purpose, and I felt grateful that I could be of service through it. At this point, it became clear that I wasn't just an actor, but an actor that could make a difference with each and every role that I took on and with every project I created and was a part of. I didn't need to change myself, but I simply needed to be myself. The idea of being who I was, truthfully and without shame, led me to come out in the August 2005 issue of The Advocate magazine. And it was in this community, the LGBTQ community, that I found I could make the most impact by simply being who I was and refusing to conform to confirm my liability. And by holding up the idea that was ingrained in me so long ago by my Tia Tenchi, that the participation in my community and service to it could make a difference, not only to myself, but to others. And I happily and gratefully continue to do so. I want to take a moment to applaud Councilwoman Martinez and the 6th District team for continuing to support not only the LGBTQ community, but the unfailing support and empowerment of women, young and older, in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you, Mrs. Martinez. Whether it's hosting a pride event, educating the members of her district about the LGBTQ community, partnering with the Los Angeles Fire Department for their annual girls' camp, or leading the way in honoring the women who work for the city of Los Angeles by making their voices heard in council session, it is very clear that she sees us, she sees you, and she sees me. We need passionate leaders to continue to mirror this exemplary model of commitment and service. This is truly a wonderful gift. We need to continue as a community and a city recognizing, participating, and giving voice to these organizations and people, not only to encourage and give example to our youth, but to keep our beautifully diverse city vibrant, electric, eclectic, and on the pulse of new ideas and creative, positive energy. This is how others, through the footsteps of those who have gone before them, learn to find what it is that impassions them and gives them purpose, so that they can make a difference by believing in what they love. It is with great honor that I am given the chance to be of service to others through my creative work, my art, and the various organizations that I volunteer at and support. And it is with this same honor that I humbly accept this award. Thank you all.
Thank you. You know, Miss Martinez, you can do this because you're always in charge, however you want. But I do have Mr. Englander on the queue that would like to say a few words.
Sure, let me just present
this. Let me know how you want to do it.
I appreciate that, and we'll get to it. I just want to present the certificate and then allow the members who want to introduce their honorees to do so as well.
All right.
So on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I want to present this resolution to Michelle Bonilla on being our honoree for the Latino Breakfast and Latinas in Pride event. Thank you very much for everything that you do. Trailblazer, a woman of courage. Thank you very much, members. Let's honor her with a big round of applause. So we're going to start. Mr. Englander?
Well, thank you very much. And what a speech. Thank you for those words and your inspiration, your leadership. And certainly enjoy watching all your shows as well. And it's clear where your leadership comes from. CSUN. So I want to thank you for in the 12th district, in my district. And in fact, my honoree who's here as well, Stacy. Come on up to the front, Stacy. Be recognized. Let's give her a round of applause. Stacy Leal. She is a senior. She's a senior California. Here, come on up. Come here. Now, and I'm making this special because she's gone through more than all of you have today. She drove all the way down here in traffic from my district. And let me tell you right now, and there's a reason she was late and missed the breakfast this morning, and I get to experience that each and every day, but she overcomes her challenges and doesn't give up and made it here. And she is a senior at California State University, Northridge, majoring in communications, which I love that, as my daughter is as well. And she's a proud child of immigrants. Her mother, Daisy, who is here and also came in traffic, on her own, so she made it here all the way, and originally from Nicaragua. Her father was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and originally from Cuban parents. And her partner, Martha, is here as well. Where's Martha? Let's give Martha a round of applause as well. Also here with us. And Stacy's journey had many interests, and as a student, she had quite the journey in finding exactly, as many of us do, and most of us, and particularly our young people do, trying to figure out what they want to study, where they want to go, and what they want to do. First starting off in photography and then graphic design, and then American Sign Language, finally finding communication studies. And let me tell you, for good reason, because she's a collaborator that brings people together and knows how to communicate and leads by example by accepting everyone all the time for any reason, of any background, gender, orientation, and she is phenomenal. So thank you for that. She is not a future leader. She is today's leader. And I'm so proud to recognize Stacy and as my honoree today. And thank you, Councilwoman Martinez, for doing this today. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you very much.
Any other members? If not, I want to read our list of honorees. Go ahead.
Well, I got a feeling that there are members that are going to want to. No, I'm going to start off with Mr. Krikorian.
Sure.
In fact,
thank you, Mr. Krikorian.
You want to just read all of them, and then we'll have the members pop up.
If you want to participate and speak, that's completely fine with me. From District 1, we have Erica de la Cruz, who's here. From Council District 1. From Council District 2, Monique Lopez, who's a social justice urban planner and advocate. From Council District 6, Neri Contreras, a project leader for Somos Familia Valle Femmes and Women of Color program. From Council District 4, Rachel Hernandez, a resident service coordinator at LA's LGBT Center. From Council District 7, Karina Cejas, who's a board member of Tia Chucha's Centro Cultural. From District 9, Bambi Salcedo, who's a president and CEO of a Trans-Latin Coalition. From Council District 10, Frankie Darlene Palacios, an activist who's an activist in the trans community, co-chair of the Transgender Services Provider Network, and working as part of the planning committee in the city's first transgender wellness center. From Council District 11, Alexa Gutierrez, From Council District 12, Stacy Leal. From Council District 13, Justine Gonzalez, who's the City of Los Angeles Human Relations Commissioner and appointee to the Transgender Advisory Council. And from Council District 14, Ana Bernal.
Yeah, Mr. Krikorian, let's start off with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ms. Martinez, thank you so much, as you always do, for bringing us this very moving and meaningful presentation and allowing us the opportunity to recognize these extraordinary women who, each in their own way, is helping to bend the arc of history and helping to shape a better Los Angeles and better Southern California for all of us. So thank you to you. Thank you to each and every one of our honorees. Because I regret and I have to apologize for having missed the breakfast, so I didn't get a chance to do this earlier, but I do want to take just a moment to say a few words about our honoree in CD2, Monique Lopez. And Monique, would you join me, actually? Monique grew up in a devout Christian household. And as she walked the path that every young person walks in understanding their own identity and meeting all the challenges that all young people have, and particularly LGBT young people who have to struggle with figuring out their identity, there was, I think, a lot of, if I could surmise, I think there was a fair amount of conflict between that journey and some of the intolerance that too many Christians speak of. And in my view, it's the very antithesis of Christianity to express that kind of intolerance to anyone. But Monique went through that experience growing up, and I think that helped lay the foundation for a commitment to equity and justice and social action that would shape the rest of her life. And so, as a result, she has had an extraordinary record of leadership. She's the was the Deputy Executive Director of Advocacy for the LA County Bicycle Coalition. She was a senior planner and policy advocate with the Environmental Health Coalition. Earlier in her career, she worked on air quality issues that benefited children and others throughout Southern California with the Coalition for Clean Air and the American Lung Association. She's always been a champion for environmental justice. So her work has helped save and extend people's lives. And it's been through the courage and the tenacity, I think, that are core values for her that she's been able to make that kind of a difference and continues to make a difference. She works very closely with my office in mobility and traffic safety and bicycling and active transportation issues, and she is truly a great asset for our community, and I couldn't be more delighted to be able to recognize her and honor her today. So thank you for giving us that opportunity.
Congrats, Mr. Blumenfield.
Great. Neri, you want to come on up? Well, since I'll keep the tradition going. Colleagues, and I too unfortunately missed the breakfast, and we talked about the lovely traffic we have was part of my excitement this morning. But this morning I have the great honor of introducing Nerito, or Neri Contreras. Now, Neri is a young leader with Somos Familia Valle. Now, Somos Familia Valle was founded in September 6, 2014. It's a community organization created and led by local low-income first-generation college students who are LGBTQ, people of color, and immigrants. And she and I first met about a year ago. It was right after the horrible shootings in Orlando, the Pulse nightclub shooting. And it was I think it was the next day was the Canoga Park Art Walk. And she had gone out there and helped organize a march to support LGBTQ people. And I know it wasn't spontaneous, you guys did some organizing, but it was pretty quickly put together. And I was there at the art walk and seeing this and immediately said, I want to march with you. And she just, we hit it off, I was able to join in and join that march and walk through the community in support of LGBTQ and in solidarity with the victims from that nightclub shooting. And she's an amazing woman as I've learned more about her. She's a first-generation Mexican-American bisexual woman of color. She was born in Los Angeles, grew up in Mexico as a teen, and growing up bisexual Latina in Los Angeles, she faced a lot of challenges, some that Mr. Krikorian alluded to: mental health issues, neglect, discrimination. Sadly, sometimes that's the theme with our LGBTQ youth. Hopefully that's something we can change as we move forward with events like this, and Nuri, thank you for putting this together. But Nuri is an incredibly resilient woman of color who believes in education, empowerment, and social justice. She holds an associate degree in social and behavioral science in arts and humanities. She's currently enrolled at CSUN, where she is pursuing a degree in psychology with a minority in queer studies. And I mentioned her involvement with Somos. Well, she is the project leader for Somos Familia Valley Femhood, which is a unique program for women and femmes of color in the San Fernando Valley. You have this incredible movement, and it can be so hyper-localized, which is incredible, and it gives opportunity for young leaders to really take the helm, and we're very proud of you for what you have been doing, what you are doing, and what we know you will be doing. She's a youth mentor for Somos Familia Valley LGBTQ plus on the Youth Council. And so I just wanted to introduce her. We have a certificate for you as well, which you have with you there, okay? We've got the certificate. And just to thank you for all your work in the San Fernando Valley and beyond. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Sadilla.
Bob, we met on a march also. I'm happy and flattered and proud to introduce Erika de la Cruz. Erika is a former HIV tester and counselor at Bienestar Human Services and now serves as a peer support navigator at the Trans Latina Coalition, currently located in Council District 1. Let me tell you about my relationship with Erika. As many of you know, I had a very tough campaign in the spring, and we really pulled out all our resources. And I have always had a presence in the LGBT community. I've always been staffed by people from the LGBT community. And much of our great signature work, like the Wall Las Memorias, comes from our commitment to be inclusive. It's the reason why we were the lone vote against the budget one year, because of their efforts to cut the AIDS funding. It's the reason that we made such a Herculean effort to protect the AIDS services at the county. And so we reached out to our community, hoping and praying that they would reciprocate. And we were so proud that we had not just one table, an LGBT table, but we also had a trans table. And we had a lot of tables, and when you walked into my campaign, and Erika was the champion there, always ready for a hug, always ready for the greetings when we'd come in, and I just can't thank her enough. She is a leader in our community. She's a champion, and we are very, very proud. And I was just elated to see that you are honoree, and you are going to be here with us today. And so this is Erika de la Cruz, our honoree. And finally, let me say, Nudi, that you are a champion and a firm and eloquent voice for those who need to be heard. You ensure that our democracy is greater, wider, deeper, and more robust by the causes you choose to champion, and all of us are thankful for that.
Thank you, Mr. Cedillo. Thank you very much.
Ms. Martinez, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, and I want to ask the camera to stay focused on Ms. Martinez. In fact, members, for all that Nuri has done to keep this council balanced and to bring us, refocus us when we need to be refocused. Let's give Nuri a round of applause.
Thank you.
But I want to ask you to bring Frankie.
You want Frankie?
Frankie. I want Frankie to stand next to you. I want the camera on Frankie. If you look around this horseshoe, you can see that most of us here had challenges in life. Many of us are from minority communities, be it Native American, be it gay guys, be it Asian, be it African Americans, be it Latinos and Latinas. So we know what struggle is about. And we know that there's a new struggle, and that's why you see us as a council join in to fight for this struggle, because we've been there before. So members, I just want to take a moment to present to you a young warrior, a young fighter from my district. And I don't know what it is, Mr. Englander. I don't know if there's a Cal State Northridge angel that flies around the city and sprinkles dust on people, but Frankie has a direct relationship with CSUN as well, as has many other people that were mentioned today. And her heroes in life are similar to our heroes in life. Cesar Chavez, Dr. Martin Luther King, and even Auntie Maxine Waters. She grew up tough, bullied. Many of us can relate to that, I know. She could have just withered away and hid, but she got to CSUN and she found her lane and she hit her stride, and she made a commitment that she was going to help other people from the LGBT community. In fact, Frankie will help anybody. That's who she is. So she spends a lot of her time now making sure that individuals have a space where they can be themselves, feel safe, and do what it is they think they need to do to make themselves a better person. She is the co-chair of the Transgender Service Provider Network. She is a commissioner for the County of Los Angeles, HIV and STDs Commission, and she's my height, which means I give her real love when I can see eyeball to eyeball with someone. My office is really looking forward to the future in working with Frankie and all of you. So members, do me a favor, let's give Frankie, who truly deserves a round of applause, because she had to overcome a lot, and now what she's done, she's just opened her heart and she's giving it back as much as she can give it back. So let's give Frankie and the other honorees a round of applause. Nuri, thank you so much. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Martinez.
And thank you very much, colleagues, for supporting this annual event and for choosing amazing honorees to honor this morning. And together we will be able to build a pipeline of Latina leaders that will help us create a more inclusive city. Thank you very much. And let's all go in the back for pictures. Thank you.
Okay, I've been informed we're going to continue, Madam Clerk, item 1H for 30 days. That'll be November 8th.
And Mr. President, there's also a request to send item 19 forthwith.
Without objection. Now we can vote on item 1. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote. Okay,
13 ayes.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. What was that, Madam Clerk?
13 ayes.
Okay, Mr. Englander, you want to do item 16?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. President. So on item 16, colleagues, we submitted an amending motion. I want to make sure that there's clarity on this. In fact, I'll add the language, if I could, and ask for a second, that these are guiding items, that this is a list of suggested items. The city attorney will work closely with the Los Angeles Police Department and finalize that in the ordinance. The draft ordinance will then come back to the Public Safety Committee, and so they have the ability in both amended language to fix any technical corrections, but also look at suggested lists of those particular items as well and come back with that in the motions. We'll ask for a second on that. Thank you very much, Mr. Krikorian. So with that, that'll do it. Thank you.
Mr. Blumenfield, is this, yeah.
I support the motion and 100%, although the combustible or consumable issue, I guess we need to, I'm just concerned about, like, what about sunscreen? What about other things where we could get sued if we don't have allow people to bring other liquids?
Yeah. No. Thank you for. So that's why we're asking the city attorney to actually look at those specific items and come back with their recommendations for that very reason. And also the fear, Mr. Blumenfield, that you would ever go outside with any sunscreen. We want to make sure that that's part of the ordinance as well.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's prepare to vote on this item. Please open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, Madam Clerk, what is before this body?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted. They are referred. Announcements, members. Announcements. I do not see any. If all in the chambers would please rise. Please rise for adjourning motions. All please rise. I'm looking to my right side, which would be Mr. Krikorian's side. I don't see any adjourning motions to my right. I'm now looking to my left. I don't see any to my left. Members, this meeting's adjourned.